Rowan stayed low in the darkness until the drone engines faded. Her ears still rang from the explosion, a high whine that made the silence feel thicker, more oppressive. The back of her ghillie suit was singed. She could smell it, acrid and sharp beneath the wet stone. Her shoulder throbbed where she'd hit the ground, but nothing felt broken. 23 heartbeats since the explosion faded. 17 since the ringing started to dull. She counted her breaths. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Grandma Marigold's method. It worked. She waited until her breathing steadied, then picked her way through the rubble toward a gap in the collapsed wall. Dawn light filtered through in pale shafts. The compass pulsed warm against her chest, pulling east, always east. She pressed her palm to it briefly, checking, grounding. Still intact, still leading. She emerged into morning fog. Morning fog coils through the skeletal remains of Eden City's financial district, sliding through fractures in concrete and steel until the silence thickens around her. Towers loom around her, gutted by time, their glassless windows hollow and staring. Ivy creeps through the ruins like patient fingers, prying apart rusted beams, winding through shattered doorways. Nature is reclaiming the city, too slow to erase its history, too fast for comfort. The damp air carries the scent of rain-soaked stone, tinged with something metallic, something artificial, dormant but not dead. Rowan adjusts her pack, grip firm on the worn leather strap. The compass rests cool against her collarbone, its iridescent surface shifting with the light. The slow, rhythmic pulse travels through the chain, settling into her sternum like a second heartbeat. Steady, measured, false comfort. She moves carefully, boots scraping over broken pavement, every step intentional. The ruins stretch empty, but she knows better than to trust emptiness. The city has a way of watching. Then, a flicker beneath the undergrowth. She stops cold. Another strange marking. Blue-white light pulses unevenly under tangled vines, dim but not dead, alive, aware. Her breath slows. The air presses against her, thick with the weight of something unseen. Then, a scuff of boots. She turns fast, blade ready. Fog curls around the figure stepping into view. Tall, lean, dark and weathered jacket, strapped with scavenged gear. He moves like someone accustomed to being hunted, careful, quiet, deliberate. His hand drifts to his belt, not for a weapon. His thumb brushes over the multi-tool clipped at his hip, checking, always checking. Strange habit. His gaze catches hers, sharp and assessing. She holds it, pulse hammering against her ribs. 12 meters between them. 3 seconds to close. If he moves, she counts his breaths, slow, controlled, trained, dangerous or disciplined. Probably both.
You're a long way from anywhere safe.
His voice is low, edged with something that might have been amusement or warning. Rowan doesn't lower the machete.
So are you.
His gaze drops to the compass at her chest, lingers, recognition, and something else, something wary.
You shouldn't be carrying that.
The compass thrums, just slightly. Rowan's grip tightens.
Why not?
His gaze lifts, meeting hers fully for the first time.
Because it gets people killed.
A pause.
Elias.
Rowan.
She doesn't offer more, doesn't lower the blade. A faint, mechanical hum threads through the fog, distant but closing. Rowan's grip tightens. Elias hears it too, his shoulders tense, gaze cutting towards the sound.
Scout drone,
she says quietly.
figure 8 pattern. 3 passes to establish a grid.
His eyes snap back to hers.
How do you know that?
Because I've been running from them long enough to learn.
She tilts her head, tracking the sound. The hum climbs higher, sharper, 15 seconds closer, 40 meters out, maybe less.
It's tracking you. Heat signature, probably. You've got maybe 90 seconds before the combat models arrive.
Elias's jaw works. He doesn't move.
You can stand here and argue about whether I'm a threat.
Rowan says,
Or you can follow me and live. Choose fast.
The hum grows louder. A red scanning beam slices through the fog, 50 meters out. Sweeping methodically, the light catches on broken glass, turns it into scattered rubies. Elias swears under his breath.
Where?
She's already moving, boots nearly silent on the wet pavement, despite the scrape of debris. He falls in behind her, his steps matching hers, with the ease of someone who spent years learning not to be seen. They slip between 2 collapsed buildings, ducking beneath a half-fallen beam. Rust flakes drift down like snow. The scout drone passes overhead, its red beam sweeping the space they'd just vacated. It pauses. A thin burst of static crackles from its chassis. A transmission. Elias's jaw tightens.
It just tagged us.
Rowan doesn't breathe until the engine fades into the general hum of the city. When she looks over, Elias is watching her, something different in his eyes now. Not trust, not yet, but not suspicion either.
Thanks.
He says quietly. She gives a short nod.
Don't make me regret it.
The corner of his mouth twitches, almost a smile.
Same to you.
The compass pulses, warm against her chest. Elias's gaze drops to it, then back to her face.
So,
He says.
where's that thing leading you?
Rowan turns east, toward the cultural center's distant silhouette, rising through the fog.
Somewhere I'm guessing you've been told doesn't exist.
Aegis.
Not a question, a recognition,
You don't believe in it.
she says. His thumb found the multi-tool again, rotating it slightly against his belt. The metal was cool, familiar, steady. He reached into his pack and pulled out 2 small cylindrical devices.
I didn't.
He exhales, short and sharp.
But I'm starting to think that doesn't matter.
He reaches into his pack, pulls out 2 small cylindrical devices, scavenged metal casings, faded military markings.
EMP grenades. Found them in a convoy wreck 2 weeks back. That's all I've got. Make 'em count. Do you know how to use them?
Rowan takes one, weighs it in her palm. The casing is cold, solid.
Arm, throw, cover eyes. 3-second fuse?
2.5.
Something that might be respect flickers across his face.
You've done this before.
Not with EMPs, but the principle's the same.
Good enough.
He tucks his grenade into his belt.
Because if your compass is right, we're about to need them.
Grandma Marigold used to say you could tell everything about a person by how they moved when they thought no one was watching.
Watch the hands.
She'd said. Fingers dark with engine grease, eyes sharp, even in the failing light of her workshop.
The hands tell you if someone's reached for a weapon or reached to steady themselves, if they're calculating angles or just trying to survive.
Elias's hands had gone for the metal scrap in his pack. Defensive, yes, but not aggressive. He'd thrown to disorient, not to destroy. And when the beam swept over them, he'd pressed into the shadows with her instead of bolting. Small things, easy to miss if you didn't know to look. Rowan presses her palm briefly to the compass. It pulses warm, steady. Her mother's voice surfaces, half memory, half dream.
Find something worth rebuilding.
Maybe this. The fog shifts. Rowan returns to the present, to Elias waiting, to the distant hum of drones that never really stops. The hum returns, deeper this time, multiplied. Not scouts, reinforcements, Vespid combat drones. Rowan's pulse spikes. She's faced Vespid drones before. The hunting machines that destroyed her home gave no second chances. But these are different. They move in formation, searchlights cutting through fog in coordinated sweeps. Not just hunting. Elias doesn't look at her, but his voice drops.
Run.
And they do. The cultural center rises ahead through the fog. Maybe 300 meters, close enough to see the carved facade, too far to reach. Rowan adjusted the compass against her chest, feeling its pulse. A guide, a warning. Elias moved beside her, his gaze flicking skyward. They weren't alone anymore. Collapsed scaffolding claws, skyward like skeletal limbs. Steel frames are etched with rust, jagged rebar jutting from fractured walls, like exposed bone. The faint hum of drones drifts through the labyrinth of rubble and shadow, an electric pulse threading the air, constant as the pressure building in her chest. Rowan presses forward, breath shallow. The compass pulses against her chest, with faint, concentric ripples, more felt than heard, silent, insistent. Each vibration seems to tether her to something unseen, threading through her bones as if whispering a promise only she can hear. Elias follows, footsteps light but deliberate. His gaze flicks from shadow to shadow, shoulders tense with the weight of too many close calls.
You trust that thing a little too much,
he murmurs, voice low against the hum of distant machinery. They slip beneath a fractured sky bridge, slick with rain. Vines cling to the broken supports like veins in old stone. The compass pulses against Rowan's chest. Rowan keeps moving.
It hasn't failed me.
That's not the same as being right.
She glances back.
You've got a better plan?
Yeah, survive today. Worry about myths tomorrow.
The compass warms beneath her collarbone, a steady pressure like a second heartbeat.
It's not a myth,
she says. Elias snorts softly.
Everyone says that about the thing they're chasing.
Rowan slows, just enough to face him.
My family built this. My mother believed it leads somewhere real.
Elias studies the pendant, something cautious flickering behind his eyes.
Maybe it does,
he says. His thumb brushes the multi-tool again.
That sounded almost like faith.
It sounded like probability.
The hum of drones deepens above them. Both of them freeze. Elias tilts his head, listening.
That's not a scout.
Rowan feels the compass pulse faster.
Combat models.
Elias exhales sharply.
Great. Now we get to test your miracle compass.
The alley narrowed, hemmed in by rusted scaffolding and shattered glass. The compass trembled beneath her grip, its glow shifting. Was it warning her or leading her into danger? Elias tensed beside her, his breath sharp. Then came the sound. Low, mechanical, hunting. A pulse of red light flickered through the mist. No more waiting. They ran. The hum of drones thickens the air, a low vibration that burrows into Rowan's ribs, spreading like static beneath her skin. Wind funnels through the skeletal remains of Eden City's financial district, rattling loose metal, threading through hollow buildings, pulling at the edges of abandoned streets. Dissipating fog clings to the ruins, shifting in restless eddies, swallowing and revealing the broken world in turn. The cold presses in, it dampens her clothes, seeps beneath her gloves, and settles deep into the marrow of her hands. Her breath curls in the air, pale against the morning gloom. Overhead, searchlights carve through the mist, thin, slicing beams diffused by the shifting vapor. The rust-streaked facades of glass towers waver in and out of view, their jagged forms dissolving like half-remembered ghosts. Somewhere beyond sight, a robotic transmission crackles, faint, garbled, a whisper buried beneath the wind.
Keep low,
Elias murmurs, his voice nearly swallowed by the gusts dragging through shattered windows. She presses herself against a damp concrete wall, rough with time and exposure, its pockmarked surface biting through the fabric of her ghillie suit. The scent of oxidized metal hangs thick in the air, mingling with the sharp tang of wet stone and decaying leaves. Beneath it, something faintly synthetic, burnt circuitry, the hollow sterility of fried components. Her fingers ghost over the compass, its steady warmth an unsettling contrast to the cold pressing in from all sides. The device pulses gently against her sternum, a guide, a warning, a presence. She doesn't trust it, not entirely. She wants to. A gust tears through the alley, dragging a ribbon of fog apart. The searchlight flares. Her pulse slams against her ribs. She sucks in a sharp breath, yanking an EMP grenade from her belt. The metal casing bites into her palm, its chill shocking against her skin. No time, no second chances. She flicks the activation switch and throws. The grenade disappears into the mist. A dull clatter against wet asphalt. A heartbeat passes. Then, a burst of blue-white energy flashes through the fog. The nearest drone jerks mid-flight, its sleek chassis convulsing as arcs of static snap across its frame. Sparks spit from its core, a strangled mechanical whine, then silence. The machine drops, optics flickering, limbs twitching weakly before going dark. One down, then the city stirs. The fog trembles as more drones slice through the air, their red optics flickering like embers in the haze. The wind carries the rising pitch of their engines, a hollow, predatory whine that claws through Rowan's skull. They aren't just searching anymore. They're tracking. Elias doesn't hesitate.
Move.
His hand clamps around her arm, pulling her into motion. They run. The alley is slick with rain, and the pavement is uneven beneath their boots. Wind howls between the buildings, yanking at them as they weave through the debris-strewn path. Rowan ducks beneath a rusted ventilation pipe, the damp metal brushing cold against the nape of her neck. The scent of stagnant water clings to the air, thick with decay. Her breath catches, sharp and uneven. She flexes her fingers against the leather of her gloves, forcing warmth back into them. She needs them steady. She needs to be fast. Ahead, Elias moves with practiced ease, slipping through the fog like a shadow. His silhouette blurs, barely distinguishable from the ruins. A bent street sign, its lettering long eroded, rattles against a collapsed awning, its rusted edges curling like the pages of a book left too long in the rain. A drone ghosts through the fog, too close. Elias kicks a chunk of concrete into its path. A fleeting hesitation, a fraction of a second. The air tastes like ozone and ash. Cold burns in her lungs with each breath. The shriek of damaged propulsion systems echoes off ruined walls, multiplies, makes it impossible to tell how many are left. Rowan moves. She pulls the pin, exhales sharply, and hurls the EMP device. A burst of static. A second drone crumples, its failing thrusters sputtering before it slams into the wet concrete. But the others adjust. Their formation tightens. Their movements sharpen. Their logic shifts. They're learning. Wind tears through the ruins, sending waves of fog rolling between the buildings. The searchlights recalibrate, twisting in erratic sweeps, casting fractured beams through the gloom. A moment of obscurity, a moment of exposure.
Left!
Elias shouts. She pivots, lungs burning, boots slipping against the rain-slicked stone. A drone veers toward her, red optics narrowing, its engine climbing to a shrill, hungry pitch. Too fast. Elias moves first. The searchlight finds him, a stark, blinding beam through the haze. He doesn't hesitate. His breath plumes white in the cold, muscles coiling in motion, calculation flashing through his eyes. He throws. The jagged scrap of metal spins through the air and strikes the drone's optic array. The machine bucks mid-flight, spiraling, disoriented. Rowan doesn't wait. Her final grenade leaves her fingers in a perfect arc. The explosion hits hard, and a concussive burst of light and force sends the drone reeling. Its propulsion system sputters, its limbs jerking erratically, before it collapses in a heap of tangled machinery. The silence that follows is too sudden, too fragile. Smoke curls into the mist. The last echoes of static fade. The wind moves, restless. She presses her back against the damp wall, chest rising and falling in sharp, uneven pulls. The cold burns now, a different kind of pain, a rawness spreading through her limbs. She clenches her jaw, flexes her fingers again, and wills the numbness away. Elias exhales hard, swiping a gloved hand over his face. The glow of distant fires flickers through the mist, their embers swallowed by the shifting gray. He rolls his shoulders, gaze lingering on the fallen drones.
Not bad.
Rowan mutters, voice rough. Elias lets out a short huff of laughter.
I could say the same to you.
Their eyes meet, just for a moment, just long enough. Then, the wind shifts, dragging another wave of fog between them. The city exhales. She presses her palm to the compass at her chest, its warmth steady against her sternum. It pulses, constant, certain, while everything else in her world blurs between clarity and deception. She turns toward the skyline, its jagged ruins cutting into the pale morning light. Elias falls into step beside her. Together, they vanish into the restless fog, their footsteps dissolving into silence. The city remains still, but its watchers do not. The silence after combat always felt wrong, too complete, too fragile. Rowan has fought alone for so long, she'd forgotten what it was like to have someone at her back. Fighting alone, she'd been like a machine running on emergency power, functional, but depleting. With Elias, something clicked into place, gears meshing, system stabilizing. Someone who threw metal scrap instead of running. Someone who didn't ask why she trusted a piece of technology that defied logic. Her father used to laugh at impossible things, at her mother's insistence that the garden would grow in the wrong season, at Marigold's assertion that machines could remember. He'd laugh, and then he'd help them dig anyway.
Sometimes impossible just means no one's figured out how yet.
He'd say. She glances at Elias. His jaw is set, eyes scanning the ruins for the next threat. Still guarded, still skeptical, but still here. The compass pulses, warm, insistent. Ahead, the cultural center waits. The fog thins as they move closer. The cultural center rises from the fog, broader and more intact than the skeletal towers behind them. Morning light cuts across its stone facade, revealing carvings half hidden beneath ivy and weather. The compass pulses faster. Rowan stops. The sensation settles into her chest. Not just direction now, but recognition. The same symbols she saw in the school. The same pattern etched across the ruins. The building knows.
This way.
She says quietly. Elias doesn't argue. They approach the archway. Ivy drapes the stone like a curtain, its tendrils curling through the carved concentric circles beneath. Even softened by decades of weather, the pattern is unmistakable. The compass flares, warm against Rowan's chest. Above them, the symbol pulses, faint blue-white. The same symbol on the pendant, the same symbol scattered across the ruins. Rowan reaches out. Her fingers brush the stone, cold, rough, ancient. Then, a vibration, not loud, not violent, just a quiet resonance humming through the structure. The air pressure shifts. Elias stiffens beside her. His hand moves to his belt. The grenades are gone. His thumb finds the multi-tool instead, flicks it halfway open, snaps it shut. The click is certain, mechanical, unlike everything else about this situation.
That normal?
She can see the calculation in his eyes. No explosives, unknown threat, bad odds.
I don't know what normal is anymore.
The drone engines grow louder in the distance. Searchlights slice through the fog. Rowan presses her palm against the symbol. The compass answers. A pulse of light ripples through the carvings. Stone grinds softly somewhere inside the wall. A seam appears between the doors. Dust trickles from the frame as the entrance slowly parts. Cold air spills outward, carrying the scent of sealed metal and ancient machinery. Rowan stares into the dark opening. Elias grabs her hand.
Move.
They slip inside just as searchlights sweep across the empty courtyard. Behind them, the doors seal shut, and the cultural center wakes.
This is where we leave Rowan and Elias, for now, but their story is far from over. If you've made it this far, thank you. These early chapters are finding their audience one listener at a time, and you being here matters more than you know. If this world pulled you in, drop a comment and let me know. Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're feeling generous, buying me a coffee helps keep this project going while I write. No pressure either way. Showing up and listening is enough. In Chapter 4, the ruins give way to something older, something that was never meant to be found, except by her. A door that answers to a bloodline, a system that speaks her name. And once it wakes, there's no turning back. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in Chapter 4, coming soon at storiesbydemirs.com.